Not everything is a conspiracy theory. There are a lot of things out there that can be proven, and people just don't want to believe it because it's too painful to think that the government doesn't like us. So I did a tweet storm yesterday on a couple of things, and I thought I'd share it with you here. I'm sure many of you have heard of Prohibition in the 1920s. Many of you even had Prohibition parties where you dress up in 1920s style or you go to these speakeasies. But did you know that during Prohibition, when the government was not happy about people not complying, they decided to poison the alcohol to ensure that people complied, but killed thousands of Americans? Yeah, that happened. I'm still surprised that some people have never heard of the Tuskegee experiment, which was a 40-year thing. It happened for 40 years, and it's right on Wikipedia for you. I mean, people should read more. But what happened in those 40 years is that they took 400 Black Americans that had syphilis, and despite the fact that they knew how to treat it and cure them, they decided to pretend that they were treating them just to see what happens when it's untreated. Yeah, that really happened. Some of you may be too young to have heard of the Pellagra incident of 1935, which lasted 2 decades and millions of people died. The government knew 20 years ahead of time that the pellagra was caused by a deficiency in niacin. And they decided, we ain't going to tell them. Really, they could have just given them niacin and millions of people would have survived. Starting to sound a little all too familiar. I'm almost positive that TikTok is going to take this down because they don't like when we talk about this. And I don't know why this is still debatable. And I don't know why this is still something that people argue, but there's plenty of proof out there. Actually, if you go to the JADA, which is, something all dentists have access to, it will show you that since the 1940s, there's been evidence that fluoride is probably one of the most dangerous substances in the world, and it's used in atomic bombs. Yep, look up Program F, where they used fluoride to make atomic bombs, and now they're putting it in your water, and they're telling you to give it to your kids, and they're putting it in your toothpaste. Wow. But if they say it's good for your teeth enough, people will just do it. In 1947, the U.S. Atomic Energy Commission decided that they were going to do radioactive experiments on human subjects. And they maintained that information as classified until 1994, where the Washington Post actually put out an article about it. And I'll read it to you. Here's what they said in the article as to the reason why it was classified for so long. It is desired that no document be released which refers to experiments with humans and might have adverse effect on public opinion or result in legal suits. So in other words, we don't want you to know any bad stuff we're doing because we don't want you to be mad at us. Sound familiar? Then I posted a link to a bunch of government mind control programs that we know of that have been declassified. It's 38 pages in very tiny, teeny, tiny print. So there's a lot of them. Imagine the ones that are classified. So in 1980, it was declassified and written in newspapers that in 1966, Army scientists sprayed New York City subways with dangerous, harmful bacteria which affected millions of New Yorkers. That happened too. In 1989, 1,500 infants, minority infants, in Los Angeles were given for measles. And then a year later, the CDC said, oops, those were just experimental. There's a lot more information like this out there, but I just wanted you guys to get the idea. All of this information is available publicly, so maybe we should start reading more, thinking more, and saying, time out. They don't really like us that much, do they?